Good morning, Utes. This is Katie at Seabrook United Methodist, and today we're going to finally wrap up our discussion about evil. For the past 2 weeks, we have talked about, we've asked, what is evil? And I have suggested that perhaps evil is not a bad guy lurking behind the corners. I've suggested that evil is within us, and that by taking responsibility for ourselves, we can combat evil. I finished last week's lesson by suggesting that evil could be anything that is not love. But now it's time to talk about what you think. I would like to know what you think evil is. Where do you see evil in the world? The other night, my son, who is going into the 5th grade in August, approached me and said very emphatically that he clearly had a conversation with his father about a particular law. I'm not sure which one. I walked in the middle of the conversation, but the end of the conversation was Sam assuring me that he would obey every law, that it is our job to obey every law. And I said, well, that's great, but what happens if a law requires us to hurt another person or another group of people? And he said, that's silly. No one would ever make a law that would hurt other people. I had the supreme displeasure of telling him that in World War II, such a law existed. That in Nazi Germany, the law required turning over your Jewish neighbor, reporting on your Jewish neighbor. The law prevented you from helping your Jewish neighbor. Which got me thinking. If I can control the impulses I have that would lend to evil, then that would mean that evil is larger than the sum of all parts. So if you and I got into a room together, evil could theoretically be bigger than my impulse plus your impulse. In essence, I can control my impulses that would lend to evil. But what about everyone else? I cannot control anyone else but me. And what happens if we unknowingly contribute to impulsive behaviors or beliefs that would contribute to evil? That's where it gets dicey. I still question whether evil is a scary boogeyman or boogie woman. Because to put evil on a boogeyman or boogie woman is to say, I'm not responsible for my bad choices. I'm not responsible, period. But evil comes from somewhere. And that's where you come in. Where does evil come from? Where do you see evil during your everyday life? And how do we respond to it? How would we respond in Nazi Germany today? The question is simple in respect to turning over your Jewish neighbor to the government. You would be saving your life. But in hiding or helping your Jewish neighbor, you would be risking your life. Are there any parallels of that today? What is evil? Where does it come from? How do we respond to it? See you next week. And happy birthday, America!